What's up, y'all? We are with Justin Phillips of Support Black College today, and we are talking about brand building. So, when I thought about who would be the perfect person for you guys to learn from when it comes to like a brand, I had to get my guy Justin because they built a huge brand. You guys have probably seen it on social media, but I want to introduce my guy, and then you could just tell them a little bit about Support Black Colleges for some people that don't know.
Sure. So appreciate you having me on, Tony. Well, my name's Justin Phillips, co-founder of a brand called Support Black Colleges, and our mission is to inspire, raise awareness, and uplift folks to go to HBCUs. So we make gear, and we do it in the form of merchandise. So we make gear for HBCU students, alumni, current students, and high school students that are going to college as well. So that's a little bit about what we do.
Dope, dope. So, like, you guys' brand is like so big. I've seen it on like celebrities. What are some of the celebrities that it's been on?
Yeah, so you got Giannis Antetokounmpo, MVP of the NBA, the Brat. You got Rick Ross, Tiana Taylor. I mean,
Just
a bunch of NBA players. Like,
Because I see it on a lot of influencers, and we do talk about influencer marketing, and of
Right.
course. So a lot of times when people are building their T-shirt line, they don't focus on brand building. They're just focused on like putting a design on it and selling it.
Right.
So from when you guys started, when did you guys really start incorporating brand building, or has it kind of always been about the brand?
I think it kind of always has been about it because we kind of stood on like a message, you know, we had like a cause. So we thought about like, you know, what is our mission? So who are we serving? How are we serving them? Why are we different and standing out in the marketplace?
Yeah.
And those are some of the questions that we asked ourselves. And now I think about those questions now, but I wasn't thinking about that when we first started.
Right.
So now those are the questions I would employ, you know, your students to say,
Right.
let me ask myself that, like, who am I? What am I doing? Who am I serving? How am I serving them? And then you can kind of start to build your brand or your brand message around those questions.
Got you, got you. And I think it's really important too, because like even like myself, where I would say I've kind of not been so much on brand building. I've just been focused on like selling T-shirts.
Right.
But I see how brand building is super important because now that I want to pivot that way, I would say where do you see the major? I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, but where do you see the major pros and cons of like when you have a brand versus when you're just selling T-shirts? Like,
And it's funny because, you know, I have friends that kind of do both on both sides. So
Right.
some that will sell T-shirts for $5.99, $9.99, whatever it may be, and you can get a lot of data doing it that way. So there's merit to doing it both ways.
Right.
So there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat, you know that. So I think the merit to building a brand is that it has long-term scalability as well as an exit plan as well.
Right.
So if you build a brand where you're selling, you know, maybe $5, $9, $10 T-shirts, it might not have as good as an exit plan where you're building a brand that is solidified in the community where it's to the likeness of the Supreme or a Nike or et cetera, whereas you're just making little designs here and there. You can make a lot of money, you can gather a lot of data, which you can make a lot of money with as well, but if you're not building a true fan base, core brand, those are things that I feel like venture capitalist firms and stuff like that are going to be looking at when they're assessing the true value of your business.
Gotcha.
So it's more so of having an exit strategy. So that's a pro to building a brand, but the cons to it is that, you know, it's harder to do.
maybe more expensive.
It's more expensive. It's harder to do. It takes a longer period of time. You have to like actually be active in the community. You have to truly do like hand-to-hand combat with your fan base and your following to actually build a true community. Whereas if you're just selling T-shirts, you can throw some ads up, make some money, skim your profit, be out the game. But how long is that going to last?
Right.
You know,
right. So pretty much what I'm hearing too is what he's saying is, if we kind of jump to that Tula Nessa interview when he was talking about being a boss of your business and actually like just focusing on the marketing, that's where the brand building side comes in, because what I heard is like longevity, you're building something that you can sell. Because if you're just selling T-shirts but there's no like brand to it, people aren't remembering like who they bought it from. They just bought a shirt off of an ad real quick. But then if you want to have an exit plan, because even though you may be super passionate right now about that brand, one day it may make sense to sell that brand.
Right.
But if you have like, you guys close right there, people see the logo. One day this could be sold to the right person.
Right.
And then you could exit, take your cash, and put that into another investment.
Exactly.
So that definitely makes sense. what else would I say too? Like when it comes to brand building, what are some of the tactics that people put into their apparel that are brand building? Because of course, you guys is like front facing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But some people have designs. But what are some other tactics that you would say someone can start off with brand building?
And when you say tactics, do you mean like the things that we did to like grow our brand or grow the following, et cetera? Or are you talking about like
Well,
specifically
we'll get
like?
into that, but actually like branding their clothes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well,
Yeah.
I'm.
I was just like,
I mean, it's just we have like a standout logo,
okay.
something that directly says what we do, how we do it, and it ties into the feel of what we felt our audience would resonate with. So if you look at the logo, it feels very Martin, it feels very in living color, like
Yeah.
that type of vibe. So we put together the HBCU culture that came from the past and kind of revamped it in a new way, but then made it super front facing to where this is the brand and this is the
Gotcha.
logo. So it's more so about drawing from the past and revamping it in our own way, making sure that it says exactly what it means, and it doesn't always have to be that. I think that
Yeah.
in the future
Like
there.
sometimes it could be in the shirt.
Yeah,
Or,
and I think that in the future we might have some iterations that just say SBC or something that is just like some lines or whatever,
yeah.
kind of like Nike or all of these logos they adapt over time.
Yeah.
So, but just getting started, I think it was important for us to have an idea of what we wanted to do, where we wanted to draw inspiration from, who we wanted to support, what the cause and the message was behind the brand, and then making a aesthetically pleasing logo.
Got you. A question that people usually want to know is, I mean, you guys logos on the front, so it doesn't matter, but how important is the inside label?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's a good argument to have.
Yeah.
So I always speak from my experience. So I share the right thing to do, and then I share my experience of what I did. So the right thing to do is, get your tags done, make it
Yeah.
nice, professional, make it look clean, everything all in one accord. But what I did and just now switched over from, we started in 2012 and it's
Yeah.
2021,
Right.
just now switching to taking the tags out of the hoodies and putting our own personal tags in it.
Okay.
So we sold multiple millions of dollars in garments that still had the jerseys or Gildan or whomever we
Yeah.
bought it from tag in it. So I
Right.
don't think that it's going to sway any business
Right.
at all if you have a brand.
Gotcha.
So that's important. But
Okay.
I don't think it's too important, but I think that it is something that you would want to do.
Right,
But
right,
if
right.
you can't do it or you can't afford it,
Right.
it is possible to make money doing
Usually
not
when
doing
you
it.
like send your stuff overseas to get made, because we do talk about that, do they charge more for the tag, or is it kind of like already in the mix since you're getting it made overseas?
It depends who you get it from.
Okay.
So most of the time they'll include it in your price, but I've seen some people where they don't have the capability to make the tags, so they'll charge you on top of it like, this is the price of the garment. We're going to get the tags from X place, get it to us and then sew it in. So they'll give you a price on that, but usually they'll have the capability to do so, so it's all priced into the garment.
Dope, dope. So when I look at like some of y'all's clothes, like when it comes to branding, like this is super cool. Like see, you guys got the tags.
Yeah.
So this is stuff that they're getting made from like overseas. So it's like if you already are getting it made overseas, it's like might as well throw it in there.
Right. Oh yeah, for sure.
But then too, it's like even just seeing like when it comes to brand building, you can have just like a t-shirt line, but then it's like when you make stuff like this,
Yeah.
it kind of goes over the top. And then also when
Right.
it comes to branding, I see like you guys got, like the basketball.
Right.
And how big is lifestyle stuff? Like
Yeah. So this is kind of like exploring new channels and new verticals for us. So we felt like we had taken the clothing to a good space, and I was like, what do brands that are expanding? What do? They either expand in that same vertical and do more in it, or they go outwards towards other verticals and see what they can do. So we were at first just hoodies and t-shirts. Then you introduce the Letterman, the shorts, the socks, the whatever. And I'm like, all right, well, we have almost every piece of clothing now. Can we extend out to what other folks would do are consuming in our niche? So dorm room stuff, rugs, curtains, laptop cases, etc. And then now it's just like, well, okay, cool. Now we've built a big enough brand. They'll buy whatever we put on or the brand on as long as it looks cool. So now that's when you get into your basketballs and your lamps and stuff like that. So.
And what I like about that too is like when it comes to a brand, it's like you're focused on the main thing, which is the apparel, but then it's like you're staying in your niche, which would be college students in a sense. So it's like, what are other things that they use on a daily that keep reminding them of who you are? So whether it's the basketball in the dorm room, the posters, the rugs, which is really cool, stuff like that. That's cool. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it or whatever. So we talked about brand building, how important it is to brand build, and then what would you just leave them with for? And let's actually take it to a level like, because a lot of these people are just getting started. So, ordering a bunch of stuff overseas may be difficult.
Right.
Like, what advice would you just have for like a fresh person who's like, I want to be more than just a basic t-shirt?
I see. My advice would be to, one, you got to figure out like who you are as a person, and then who you are as an entrepreneur. Right. That's going to dictate the decision you make in your business model. So if I'm not the type of person that can nor wants to deal with a lot of people on a daily basis, I don't want to ship packages myself. I have to pick a specific business model, which might be print on demand, or might be drop shipping or something like that. So I can do brand building with, custom labels and et cetera with those business models, which is perfectly fine. But the thought process is I need to first identify who I am, then identify the business model that matches what I want to do, and then also identify if that business model is able to scale, because most humans want to grow or they want to scale their business, et cetera. So if that's my goal, then I have to see, well, is this print on demand business going to be able to scale? Well, yes, but the profit margins might not be there. So I might need to adjust my business model based on drop shipping, because the profits are a little bit better, but I also still don't want to do the shipping. So thinking about that first. And then also I would just say, like, you really have to build the muscle of resilience in this sport, because like entrepreneurship is a sport too, especially brand building, because it takes so much time. So the people might see, the Instagram ads and the followers and et cetera, but we started off from zero too. So no followers at all, and commenting on 100 posts per day, and engaging with our audience on the daily, liking photos, etc., DMing 10, 15 influencers per hour for years at a time, and still doing those things to this day. So thinking about it more so as a numbers game and as a game of longevity, rather than just like, I want to make some money right now, because brand building is done over time, and you make the big exit in 10, 15 years. But building something small, right now is like whatever. But when you have a little bit of money, you start off where you can. You doing things, and done is better than perfect. And being present is better than procrastinating. So that's a few things that I'll leave, I guess.
Okay, so that was super dope. Like, and just for a beginner, the thing that, one, let's just focus on they started from zero. How long ago did y'all start?
We started 2012, started taking it seriously about 2018. So it's been 3 years since we got to like this position.
Okay, so a brand as big as Sport Black College, you guys see, remember, 3 years ago they were at zero. Instagram followers was low. Now they're verified and all that type of stuff. So remember, don't look at it like, oh, this type of company is already big, I can't really be like that.
Right.
You could be that way too, but the main thing is resilience. So that's what we're going to end off with. That's my guy, Justin. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Where can they find you guys at?
Yeah, so my Instagram is Justin P. That's my personal Instagram. And our Instagram is Support Black College. So.
And what's the website?
Website, supportblackcolleges.org.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see y'all in the next.